Microsoft forced Copilot onto over 400 million Windows 11 devices without asking. The AI they promised would save you 10 hours a week became the #1 reason people started downgrading their operating system. And that is not even the part that should concern you. Satya Nadella signed off on the deepest product integration in Microsoft's history. What users lost? Control of their own machine, memory they were already paying for, and the ability to opt out. Microsoft turned dependency into a weapon, and the people paying for it are the ones who never agreed to the deal. This is the story of how Microsoft embedded Copilot so deep into Windows that removing it requires a registry edit most users do not know exists, and why that decision is costing them the trust of the enterprise market they spent 30 years building. As of early 2024, over 400 million Windows 11 devices were running Copilot. What most coverage missed is how deliberately this was architected and how far back the plan actually goes. Microsoft's Copilot integration affected every Windows 11 user on the planet, not in a future update. As of the Windows 11 23 H2 rollout in late 2023, IT departments at major enterprises began blocking the feature at the network level because it routes queries through Microsoft's servers by default. Enterprise clients reported significant spikes in help desk volume tied directly to Copilot interface changes, and independent benchmarks documented a consistent performance overhead on machines with 8 GB of RAM or less, the exact machines most of the world still runs on. The question is not whether Microsoft miscalculated. The question is whether they knew exactly what they were doing and shipped it anyway. This was not an accident. Microsoft had been building toward this since 2019. That is when they made their first investment in OpenAI, $1 billion, quietly, before anyone was talking about large language models in consumer software. By 2021, they had restructured their entire cloud division around AI infrastructure. By 2023, their total funding commitment to OpenAI had reached $13 billion, confirmed in Microsoft's own SEC filings, and they needed a product that would justify every dollar of it to shareholders. Copilot was not built for users. It was built to prove a thesis to Wall Street. The forced integration did not come from nowhere. The architecture for it was laid 4 years before you ever saw the button appear on your taskbar. Start with what Copilot actually does on your machine, because the marketing and the reality are two different products. Microsoft's official positioning, an AI assistant that helps you write, summarize, and search faster. What they shipped, a persistent background process that cannot be fully disabled through the settings menu, a data pipeline that sends query context to Microsoft's Azure servers, and a user interface redesigned around Copilot's placement, not around how people actually work. The memory issue is real and documented. On devices with 8 GB of RAM, which represents roughly 60% of active Windows machines globally, Copilot's background processes consume between 500 megabytes and 1 GB at idle, according to benchmarks published by Windows Latest and TechRadar in December 2024. On machines already running close to capacity, that overhead is not a minor inconvenience. It is the difference between a machine that works and one that doesn't. The opt-out problem is worse. Microsoft's support documentation lists multiple steps to disable Copilot. What it does not tell you is that those steps revert after a major Windows update. Users who disabled it in one update cycle found it re-enabled in the next. That is not a glitch. That is a retention mechanism. Then there is the enterprise problem. Microsoft's commercial business, the one that actually funds the company, runs on trust with IT administrators. Those administrators need to control what software runs on their endpoints. Copilot's architecture, specifically the way it integrates with Microsoft Graph and accesses organizational data, created a compliance gap that legal teams at financial institutions, hospitals, and government contractors flagged immediately. Several large enterprise clients paused their Windows 11 migration, specifically because of Copilot's data handling. The product that was supposed to accelerate Windows 11 adoption became the reason enterprise clients stopped adopting it. To understand why Copilot is so hard to remove, you need to understand how it was integrated. Because it was not integrated the way normal software is integrated. Standard Windows features are modular. They sit in defined system directories. They have clean registry entries, and they can be removed without touching core operating system functions. Copilot was not built that way. Microsoft embedded Copilot into the Windows shell. That is the same layer that controls your taskbar, your start menu, and your file explorer. That was not a coincidence. That was an architectural decision that makes Copilot's removal equivalent to modifying the operating system itself. It is the same strategy Microsoft used with Internet Explorer in 1998. The strategy that triggered a federal antitrust case. Regulators and legal analysts have noted the parallel directly, with the FTC and European authorities both examining whether Copilot's shell-level integration unfairly disadvantages competing AI products. The data layer is the second mechanism. Copilot does not just answer questions, it indexes your activity. Through Microsoft Graph, it has access to your calendar, your emails, your documents, and your browsing history inside Edge. Every query you run through Copilot is contextualized against that data. Microsoft calls this personalization. What it actually is a behavioral profile that lives on their servers, not on your machine. The third mechanism is the update cycle. Microsoft's Windows Update infrastructure pushes Copilot changes through the same channel as security patches. That means when you accept a security update, which you have to if you want your machine protected, you may also be accepting a Copilot configuration change. Users do not see a separate prompt. They do not get a separate consent screen. It arrives bundled. 3 mechanisms, 1 outcome. A product you did not choose, that you cannot fully remove, that gets updated without your explicit consent, and that sends your behavioral data to a server you do not control. Here is what 400 million users actually means in practice. Windows runs on more machines than macOS, Chrome OS, and Linux combined. When Microsoft ships a feature to Windows, they are not launching a product. They are making a policy decision for the majority of the world's computing infrastructure. The backlash to Copilot is not a niche complaint. It is the largest coordinated user revolt Microsoft has faced since the Windows 8 Start menu removal in 2012. And that one cost them 3 years of enterprise trust and a complete interface reversal in Windows 10. The volume of the current revolt is significant. Copilot-related complaints became the dominant category in Microsoft's own feedback hub for multiple consecutive months following the Windows 11/23 H2 update. The most upvoted suggestion on that platform, by a significant margin, was a single sentence: let us fully uninstall Copilot. Microsoft has not acted on it. What Microsoft has done, shipped additional Copilot updates in the same period, each one expanding the feature's integration rather than reducing it. The scale of the backlash and the scale of Microsoft's non-response are both telling you the same thing. This was never about making a better product. This was about locking in a distribution channel for AI that no competitor can replicate. There are 3 groups paying for this decision, and none of them are the ones who made it. Start with the users. The average Windows user did not ask for an AI assistant. They asked for a stable, fast operating system. What they got is a machine that runs slower, sends their data to a third party, and requires technical knowledge most people do not have to partially disable a feature they never enabled. The cost is not abstract. It is measured in memory, in battery life, in the time spent on help desk calls, and in the erosion of the basic expectation that your computer does what you tell it to do. Then there is the enterprise market. Microsoft's commercial revenue, Office 365, Azure, enterprise Windows licensing, is the actual engine of the company. Consumer Windows is almost irrelevant to their financials. What matters is whether IT administrators trust the platform. As of 2024, that trust is under serious strain. Multiple major financial institutions issued internal guidance, restricting Copilot's access to organizational data. In December 2024, Dutch public sector bodies, including the Ministry of Justice, published a formal data protection impact assessment, finding 4 high-risk data protection issues in Microsoft 365 Copilot. The enterprise trust that Microsoft spent 30 years building is being spent down to fund an AI product that enterprise clients did not ask for and cannot fully control. Then there is Microsoft itself. In the period following its aggressive AI integration announcements, Microsoft saw a single-day market cap decline of approximately $357 billion, one of the largest single-day losses in US stock market history, driven by investor concern that AI capital expenditure was outpacing visible revenue returns. The $13 billion OpenAI commitment needs to generate returns. Copilot is the product that was supposed to generate them. Here is what the Copilot situation tells you about where Microsoft is going and what you should do about it. Microsoft is not going to reverse this. The architectural integration is too deep, the OpenAI investment is too large, and the strategic bet on AI distribution is too central to Nadella's legacy for them to walk it back. What they will do is iterate. They will make Copilot faster, they will reduce the memory overhead, and they will add more opt-out language to the settings menu that does not actually opt you out. They will call this listening to feedback. What they will not do is give you back the machine you had before. The alternatives are real, and they are growing. According to StatCounter, Linux desktop adoption reached approximately 4.4% of global market share in 2024, a record high. That number is still small, but the trajectory is not. The users moving to Linux are not random. They are the technically literate users who set up everyone else's computers, who recommend operating systems to their families and their companies, and who write the tutorials that the next wave of switchers will follow. macOS is absorbing the enterprise defectors. Apple's M-series chip performance, combined with a privacy positioning that is the direct opposite of Copilot's data model, is converting IT administrators who would never have considered a Mac environment 5 years ago. And the regulatory question is not going away. The Internet Explorer parallel is not rhetorical. The FTC and European regulators are actively examining whether Copilot's shell-level integration, its bundling with security updates, and its data pipeline through Microsoft Graph constitute anti-competitive behavior. Those investigations were ongoing as of 2024. Copilot's architecture is exactly the kind of design decision that antitrust investigators document before they file. Microsoft built the most hated thing they have ever shipped, and they built it on purpose. The story of Copilot is not a story about a bad product launch. Bad product launches get fixed. This is a story about a company that decided its users' machines were a distribution channel and shipped accordingly. The question you should be asking is not whether Microsoft will fix Copilot. The question is, if they were willing to do this with an AI assistant, what are they willing to do with the next thing they need to distribute? Because there will be a next thing. There always is.